You ever keep checking your phone after you post something, hoping this time somebody finally says something back? Like like your whole life depends on that like and that comment. I know what that feels like because I've done it more times myself than I'd care to admit. In fact, just to be brutally honest with you, actually just checked the stats from the post I did yesterday for my mom for Mother's Day to see how it did. There's also the other side to that. When you have something that goes, maybe not massive viral, like, you get millions, but I mean, you get something that, gets over 1,000, or, if you're used to seeing 20s, you get something that's in the hundreds, whatever that might be. You get something that really hits and you're like, oh man, how do I duplicate that every single time? Right. And you go back and you're looking at, I know I do. I mean, do you do that too? Do you find yourself looking at this stuff going, oh man, how come this one didn't hit? And then you're, taking all the data and looking at all the analytics and trying to figure out how can I duplicate this without just, posting the same thing over and over and over again. Because you know that if you actually posted the same thing over and over again, it's not going to have that same impact either, but you want it to. So where does that come from? I mean, I think a lot of us have been, I know I have, I'm sure maybe you've felt it too, have been hurt. We've had friendships, even relationships that went south on us, that didn't turn out the way that we thought they were supposed to. Uh, there's a line in a song that I just wrote recently that basically says, um, I have met the ones that I thought would never leave me, only for them to fade before the morning light. And it feels that way. And I'm not talking about some kind of one night stand kind of situation. I'm talking about, you're in love with somebody. You have that close, deep, intimate relationship with a person. And then it ends. It ends in that kind of a way that you weren't prepared for, you weren't expecting. And your life changes without you really having any control over it. Not really. Because we can't impact somebody else's free will and the things that they do in their own life. We can only control ourselves. We can only deal with who we are and what we're doing. And sometimes that's really tough. And so, yeah, we look for third party validation. We put our book out there and we want to see, not only it, hit the bestseller list and have great rankings, but get reviews and have people tell us how wonderful it is. We put a post out there, and what we really want the post to do, in spite of all the things I've said about going viral, we really do want it to. You've heard somebody talk about their post, their post or their video went to 1 million, and so you're like, oh man, I would love to see that. We see that person that talks about having 10 million, 20, 30, 50 million people. And it creates that feeling inside of us, and we almost feel less than if we don't have a post that does that same thing. You ever felt that way? Checking the phone, just hoping, jumping on top of somebody if they do comment. It's like, oh, thank you so much for commenting. I appreciate it. You're looking up the people who, gave you the thumbs up, and you're like, thank you for liking my post. I really appreciate you. Whack, 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 whack. I mean, you're like my puppy whenever I've got food, and she's like, oh, you're my very, very favoritist of everybody in the whole entire world. So my question for you is, what's something that's a rejection or a silence that slowly trained you to stop doing what is naturally just who you are. Hey, Josie, glad to have you here with us. I'd really like to hear from you. What is that something, the rejection or the silence, that slowly trained you to stop doing naturally what you are? I look forward to hearing from you. And yes, I will hop on your comments and be like, oh, thank you for commenting. Quack, quack, quack. Okay. I appreciate you so much. I hope that you are happy, you're safe, you feel warm and loved inside, that life is going so wonderful for you today. And until we're together again tomorrow, that you have a great week.